Hey, hello everybody. It's been a while since I posted a webinar on YouTube, and that's because my peak season has been going on since September. It's been kind of crazy, not complaining. This has been fantastic. We've done 48 different salon owners or chains or single salons, whatever, since September. So we've been really crazy, and it's a nice problem to have. It keeps an old guy's mind from going to mush. So, but there's something that keeps coming back and working with all of these salons over the last 120 days, whatever, that we're seeing, of course, the same concern about what do we do with employees. I mean, this has been the biggest thing that we've had to work on. Well, actually, the biggest thing we've had to work on is getting people's pricing done correctly to aim toward selling particularly more EFTs. But then after that, it's been the staffing issues, and they're around us all the time. So let me share with you a plan that we created back 8, 9 years, no, 7 years ago. 7 years ago, in Milwaukee with a chain there. That's called the MVP plan. And what it does is it answers the question is who is your salon MVP? Who's the person that you feel is the best? And that might change from month to month. But the important thing is that everybody likes to see scores. Everybody that graduated from high school, you, me, any of us, we had 12 years of report cards. And we're not talking about, you know, soccer trophies. That's crazy. But if we didn't have scoreboards, if we didn't have scores, who would go to a football game or basketball game or baseball game? But everybody does this because they want to look at the score. And what I have been installing with a lot of my salons is what we call whiteboard motivations. Whiteboard motivations. It's a whiteboard that's in the back of your salon that customers can't see. The manager is responsible to do some numbers at the first of each month and display them up there. Now, you might say, well, employees can see those numbers by looking in the software. And it's true that they can, but it's not as dramatic as when the manager puts them on the whiteboard and ranks everybody. So this is a very powerful tool, and it works so much better than, like I said, giving somebody a soccer trophy, which we all, we don't want to be giving out reinforcements to employees because they showed up. Just like we did for soccer trophies for showing up. I think my grandchildren at one time had that. And I said, this is crazy because people really want to know the score. They want to know where they sit versus their peers. The younger generation of salon employees grew up competing on computers, platform games, handheld games, social media. They watch their peers, they compare and compete. And I want to do one quick little thing with you is that 6 years ago, I did an experiment. I put a post on Facebook just to see who would react to it. I put a post on that said that I was going to the store to buy a jar of pickles. I had 27 responses. 27. I mean, my Facebook is a lot larger than that, but 27 people responded wanting to know what kind of pickles and the most inane questions you can possibly imagine. But what it shows us in today's society is that people aren't looking for their quote unquote 15 minutes of fame. They're looking for their 15 seconds of fame. So they're looking for reinforcement all the time. And we know by federal research, the Federal Association of Self-Esteem, only our federal government would have that. There's tremendous low self-esteem, and COVID didn't help that. So what we want to do is appeal to that your employees want more reinforcement, but let's make it reinforcement that's coupled with a metric. Let's not just tell them, oh, you're doing a wonderful job, and that doesn't mean anything. If you keep telling your employees they're doing a wonderful job and you've got nothing to back it up with, they're going to think you're full of baloney. Just like on the other side, if you say that they're doing a terrible job and you say, well, I think you don't do a good job with customers. Well, why? You got to use examples. Well, the best way to do this is metrics. So remember that these, yes, younger generation, they may be a real frustration and a pain in the neck for you because of what appears to be, to us of the older generation, a low lack of work values and respect for work, whatever. But I will tell you one thing about them. They do watch their peers, they compare, and they compete. Remember when Facebook started and these people were going on Facebook to see, I've got more likes and more shares than you do. It's crazy. And again, it's that reinforcement. It's their 15 seconds of fame. So we may not be able to pay them what they defined years ago, and the McDonald's employees were complaining about that they wanted a living wage. Our industry is never going to be, unless you get senior management of chains and you get up to general managers or even regional managers of big chains, we're not going to be paying people a living wage. We can't, we're never going to be able to do that. But there should be a balance. And this is something I've been preaching to people now for quite a while. Hate to be preachy, but I'm old, so I get to do that. There should be a balance between a decent wage and incentives that we pay people and the working environment they're in. If your employees, if you've got employees that only care about how much money they make, and that's the only thing they care about, then they can go work for Amazon or somebody else, because we could never compete with that. Now, if you want to be schlepping around in a warehouse, moving barbecue grills and making 19, 20 bucks an hour, God love you. I mean, go to Amazon. But we've got something that Amazon can't compare with. We've got a working environment. We've got a really cool thing that will give employees satisfaction. That is, we're helping our customers' self-esteem. Every time they leave, they feel good. I don't know if somebody goes to the Wendy's drive-up, if they feel good about themselves when they're done. But one thing about us, our industry makes people feel better about themselves. We we sell self-esteem. So we may not be paying a living wage by what McDonald's was talking about years ago, years before COVID, but we can pay larger incentives on incremental sales that gives them reinforcement, enhancing their self-esteem. But we need the scores. We need to know what the scores are, and the employees need to know what the scores are. And so anytime that you can write out a bigger check because someone is selling more, our whole industry is not necessarily about equipment and location and ambiance. It's that top line. Forget your fixed cost, because there's nothing you can do about your fixed cost until you raise that top line. Every time you raise that top line another dollar, an enormous percentage of that goes to where you can apply it toward your fixed expenses, or more incentives for employees, or better quality employees, or money that you actually as an owner get to take out. So let me talk to you about what I call MVP. So the MVP plan, and what numbers do I need for the MVP? You want to know who's the most valuable. It's the person that works for you that is the most valuable. Is not the one that necessarily is the most attractive person that comes to work for you. That might be part of it, whatever, or they maybe suck up to the boss or whatever. It's a cold world out there, and numbers count. We got them, like I said, for 12 years. We graduated from high school, and then I got them in college. First year or so, my scores weren't too particularly good, but we're always getting report cards. We get report cards from each other, from our mates or whatever. So report cards are important. So what numbers do we need to determine who is the MVP? Now, this plan I'm going to show you works. I've done this with 40 or 50 clients, and it works. It works with chains. It works with single salons. It works. So here's the numbers. There's only 3 numbers that really count. Okay, the LPA. Now, some softwares will call it LPSA or whatever, but you know what I'm talking about. It's a lotion per sale average. It's simply the lotion revs divided by TANs overseen by the associate. So as an example, let's say that associate, that person, that tanning consultant, sells $400 worth of lotions over 200 transactions. Her LPA is $2. Real simple math. Real simple. And you can get that off of any software. I don't care what software you have. You can get that off of there. So you do this. Let's say you got 4 employees. You do it over every one of your employees. You look at what their LPA is. Now, when do you do this? You don't do it every week. I see people doing it every week. There's too many anomalies in a week. It could be a crazy week. When some employees in there, you have damn near a snow day or whatever. Just weird things happen. Do it over a month. You have your store manager do these numbers at the beginning of the next month and post the numbers. Your employees will look forward to seeing those numbers. They want to see how they rank against their peers. Believe me, this younger generation that we don't give a lot of credit to at times, they don't want to be sucking bottom on the rankings. So LPA, lotions are incredibly important because there's a lot of margin in lotions. And the logic is if you sell a lotion, you're probably going to sell it some tans. On the other hand, if you sell a tan package, you should be selling more lotions. And I can tell you, looking at numbers, I'm the only one in this industry that aggregates numbers. Nobody else does. And I'm not talking about just Sacramento or Florida or upstate New York or Texas, whatever. I have numbers in all 50 states and 4 provinces in Canada. So I know what good numbers look like because I compare them all the time. So LPA is one of the first numbers that you want to look at, and it's right there in your software. It shouldn't be that difficult to find. The next one is what we call PSA. And again, your software may describe it differently, but it's a per sale average, simply the total lotions and services combined. That's an important number, just like the lotion average is. Usually your PSA will go up as you raise your EFT sales. And so the example of it is associate. Let's say that they sell $2,000 over 200 transactions. They have a $10 PSA. And I know some of you are probably going to ask, well, what would be a good LPA? What would be a good PSA? A $2 LPA over the last couple of years would be a little low. We probably through our system probably closer to 280, 285. A PSA then, a good PSA would be in the $15 range. So these are low numbers I'm showing you, but just these are examples. And the next number, probably the most critical number, is what we call EFT close rate. Guess who, with all apologies to humility, brought EFT close rate into this industry? Moi. And it's because long before, 32 years ago, before I got into this industry, I was an executive at a little company called Target. And Target taught me analysis. It was like going back and getting another postgraduate degree. EFT close rate is critical. It's how many EFTs that the salesperson sold divided by the TANs that they oversaw. So TANs are transactions, whatever, however you want to say it. So here's an example. Let's say the associate sold 5 EFTs divided by 200 transactions. They would have a 2.5% close rate. So let's stop there because you're looking at this numbers and you're saying the LPA, John, I think can make some sense. The PSAs kind of make some sense, although the PSA might be low. We can do better than that. And then you're looking at the EFT close rate and you're saying 2.5%. Are you nuts? The average last year for 2022 was somewhere around 3.8%. And you're saying that's awfully low, but let's understand what we're talking about here. This is the EFTs that were sold by that individual divided by the transactions they handled. And most of those transactions are not selling EFTs because somebody's already got an EFT. So it looks like a small, funky number, but its importance is in the power, the relative power of that to what other employees are doing. So I'm going to show you a chart, and this is an example of something we just did last year in a salon to show you how this works. If you can bring your EFT close rate up, you're selling more EFTs. Then your EFT revenues is a higher percentage of your total sales. If you're selling more EFTs, your PSA is going to go up. Your lotions should follow it. Anyone that's out there watching this video right now and listening to me, if you're on minutes or $10 or bonus points or whatever, please call me. I'm going to give you some information at the end of this because you're going the wrong way. Over the years, I can't tell you how many people we have turned around. And it's not that I'm so smart. It's that the people that I deal with, over 600 different owners in the last 32 years, They have helped educate me. This is the way to go. This MVP, when you start to post these numbers with your employees and they come to work and they go back, maybe they put their purse down someplace or whatever, they go back and they look at where they rank versus their peers. What it has the power to, you don't have to kick them in the butt to do better. They'll kick themselves in the butt because they'll look at it and they'll say, wow, I'm really sucking wind here because I'm on the bottom of the totem pole. So let's give you an example here. Here is a chart showing you a scoreboard on some numbers. And how do you get these numbers? What's the significance of the numbers? Okay, how do you get these numbers? You get them off your software. You can get everything but EFT close. You can get LPA, you can get PSA. You have to find out the EFTs that the individual person has sold and then their number of transactions for 1 month. So here's the month of December for this particular client. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but they had 5 employees, and you can see the chart there. You can see each person's ranking, whether it's on PSA or LPA or EFT close rate. Now, when you put this on a board, on the whiteboard in the back of your store, and let's just look at some of these numbers here. So Kristen on these numbers here was numero uno in PSA. So you don't have to have your whiteboard look this fancy. You can just, scribble on the whiteboard, PSA, list them, whatever, list their dollars because they have to see how close they are to each other. Do the same thing about LPA and then do the same thing about EFT close. So you can get the numbers off your software. You just have to get the number of EFTs that they sold divided by their transactions. The significance of the numbers, oh, incredibly significant numbers, because it's showing employees where they rank compared to their peers. But it also gives you, as the manager or the owner, a guide. Who is doing better? Who was my MVP last month? How do I get people to be better? And then, even as important, if not more important, is how do I reinforce that person that was MVP last month? So when you have a monthly sales meeting and you get everyone together to talk about what happened the month before, and if you don't have monthly salon meetings, you really should. One of the great things that is missing in this business is that we don't share best practices within salons or within chains. There's people walking around our salon and walking around our chains that really know a lot of great stuff and could share it with other people, but they don't get a chance. They don't get an opportunity. Too many salons, like to maybe not now in peak season, but too many salons try to whittle their payroll down to where basically one employee is high-fiving another one as they walk out the door. Have your monthly salon meetings. Talk about these numbers. Get the people that are best at PSA or the people that are best at Lotion to share with each other what they do. You're going to see your business go up. You'll see your business go up about this scoreboard and MVP because number three, the numbers are fair for employees competing. If you do it on a per transaction basis, it's fair. So if someone says, well, Kristen worked a lot more hours here, I can't compete with that. Yeah, you can. You might only work 2 shifts a week. So you have less transactions. So maybe you've got more time to work with each person than Kristen does. Kristen's got more pressure on her because she's working with more. So it's fair in terms of competing. And so what do I do with the results? You post them on a board and you're back in the back of the office. If you assume that your employees are looking at your software and looking at the numbers, their numbers versus other people's numbers, they may or may not be. And I just noticed something. I think I spelled fair wrong. Okay, so I told you I have to learn from people myself. That was cool. Anyway, so what do I do with the results? You post them. And people are very competitive. They look at that and they're going to say, hey, I don't want to be on the bottom. And by the way, you say, well, look at this lady that's on the bottom, Kaylee, Cailey. She was on the bottom of PSA. She was doggone near bottom on the LPA, and she was better on selling EFTs, whatever. But if Kaylee doesn't like being on the bottom of PSA, well, uh, I hope that she comes and talk to you about it. A lot of times managers and owners are afraid of doing something like this because they don't want to offend this former soccer trophy person, whatever. So they're afraid to actually put the numbers out there. And the truth of it is, I hope they do come to you. I hope they come. I hope Kaylee comes to you and says, this is terrible. This is embarrassing. Well, Kaylee, come on, let's sit down and talk. Let's talk about how you can sell lotions and products and memberships better, because that's what you want. And if it's somebody that doesn't like competing, do you really want them working there? Selling tanning is not the right thing for everyone. There's other things that they should be doing, because we are a selling business. We sell to customers, we sell to ourselves. Managers have to sell to the salespeople and how to sell. We're in the business of selling. Managers have to sell to their owners. I have to sell to owners. Owners have to sell to me to go along with plans that they want to do. It's all about selling. It's all about collaborating with people. And you put the scorecard up there, it gets everybody to see what everyone is doing, not just trusting that they're going to look at the software. They come in every month. At the beginning of that month, they look at the scoreboard or the whiteboard in the back of the store, and I guarantee you, some of these people that are sucking wind at the bottom will take notice. And if nothing else, if they continue to be at the bottom, they may be thinking, I'll lose my job. Maybe I'll lose my free tanning. Okay, so what do you do with the results? You post them, and then what should I expect from doing? I'll tell you what you should expect from doing this. You're going to see your business go up. You're going to see people, the Kayleys that you see that are on the bottom, near the bottom of LPA, or at least at the bottom of LPA. You're going to see their numbers go up because they don't want to be on the bottom. Now, if you don't see them going up, you should do something about helping them. Now, this is critical for you as owners. If your manager does this every month, you must demand from your managers they put these numbers together, that they post them, but they also go back to you as the owner with a plan. So where I learned this is running a division for a little company called Target Stores. I had 125 people that directly reported to me. And there was times where there were employees that weren't doing so well, and regional people that reported to me would say, I'm having problems with this person and that person. And I would say, hey, it happens. It's okay. It's okay that you're having a problem with this person, but you have to have a plan. So my rule was, tell me about all the problems you're having with your employees, but tell me about your plan. That's what I want to know. It's like getting together at a salon meeting and someone that works for you is bitching and moaning about this or about that. When people want to come to your salon meeting, tell them, you come to me with anything you want. You can say anything you want about the salon and issues that we have, but give me a suggestion. How can we make it better? Because just bitching and moaning about something doesn't help. So I can tell you, this is the MVP plan. It works. If you want more information, get a hold of me, because I have a whole summary on it. I can tell you how to do it because I've probably done it now with more than 50, maybe almost 60, um, you know, clients. And also, if you want me to diagnose your business, I am the salon doctor. I can analyze your salon business looking at your vital signs as a salon doctor or whatever. And what vitals do I need? I need your per tan average for 2022. Okay, and it's simple there. Total revs divided by total tans. I need your total 2022 unique or individual clients. That's very important. We need to know how much money you're getting off of each individual client, not tans in this case, but individual clients. We need to know that. We need to know the number of EFTs you sold in 2022. We need to know the number of EFT draws, because people will come to me all the time. We've done in the last 75 or 80 days, I've done 47 or 48 different prices for people. And with the inflation, we've raised prices for everyone. In some cases, a very small percentage, 10%. I've had a couple of salons, we raised it 30%. And if you're going to raise prices, this is the time to do it because everyone, unless they're living under a rock, knows that the cost of gas and groceries, everything has gone up. Consumers are more malleable to higher prices now than ever before because they know it's happening to everyone. Every once in a while, we have somebody bitch and moan at a salon. Oh, your prices have gone up. Yeah, well, yeah, my prices have gone up. The price of my lamps has gone up. The price of my payroll's gone up. My electricity's gone up. Everything that I have, the price on everything I have, sell from a service or product has gone up. So they all know that. Now we need to know, like I said, the number of draws because we want to see what your average customer is spending in a year. I can tell you that back in 2018, 2019, if we had a PCA, a per customer average of 140 bucks, we were doing well. 2021, we were averaging 270, 280. 2022, I don't have all the numbers, but I know there's going to be several people over $300 per individual customer. So we just have to do that. We've got to get more TANs in the store, more EFTs, and we got to get more money out of each individual customer. Then I need the total number of TANs for 2022, and of course the total Lotion revenues, so we can see what your LPA is running. Look at, you want some help, I can give you help. Email me or call my cell, and the EFTs is the real direction that we're going, and the Salon Doctor can help you, um, but I can't do anything if you don't make the approach to me. And your consultation with me is going over and analyzing your numbers is free. So hope you guys are having a good early peak season here. I say this in the kindest way I can. I hope you're getting slammed. And I hope to talk to a lot of you soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.